Welcome back to GEMS Podcast. I'm your host, Genesis Amaris Kemp, and with me today is Will, aka Wize Otero. And here is a bit about Will. So he was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. He's been podcasting for 2 years from the beautiful Pocono Mountains. He was widowed at 31 in 2008 and spent many years being self-destructive. He has since then turned his life around and now found his purpose in life. And today we're going to unpack how to turn your life around and really find that purpose, as well as weave in some mental health tips and tricks. So, without further ado, please welcome Will, aka Wize Otero, to Gems Podcast.
Hey, Jen, how you doing?
I am doing well, Wize. Thank you so much for being here and getting ready to unpack how you turned your life around after going through a tragic of losing your spouse and being a widower at 31, because that is a very young age, and some people are probably asking, oh, how did you deal with that, and what helped you get your life back on track? So I want to dive in a little bit deeper there, and you just kind of give us the realness and all of that good stuff.
Okay, so all right, so I guess she kind of prepared me for it in a way because when I got with my wife, I was I was 21 years old, and she started molding me. She introduced me into the world of self development and self help, and she introduced me to Abraham Hicks and Louise Hayes and all these other inspirational leaders and motivational gurus or whatever you want to say there, and it kind of prepared me for eventually what would come. And because after that, it was like one tragedy after another for many years. And of course, the way everybody deals with grief differently. People dig into work. Some people decide they want to self medicate. They just take on the burden of the world on top of them. And for me, it was just I was just angry, and I decided to drown my sorrows in alcohol. And so it was just me not caring about anything, not wanting, until one day you finally wake up. Especially, listen, I lost my wife. I reconnected with my dad, only to lose him again, and lost a bunch of other people in my life that were very key in my development. And so to be angry for so many years and blame, if you whatever you want, God, spirit, energy, whatever you want to blame it on, when you finally wake up and realize these situations you couldn't control, and for you to be upset and maintain that anger at something that had no control over, is really affecting your life. It's really not letting you serve your purpose. Like, for me, it took me all the years of experience to really find my purpose and experience what I had, pandemic and all, to for me to find out that I'm here to serve, to help people, and show people, listen, you can go through all these things in life, and you can be at the rock bottom, homeless, whatever it is, situations you have to go, you can always lift yourself up. And so with my podcast, that's what I do. I bring people on to show that have different stories, to show my listeners, to show whoever's viewing, listening, whatever, that no matter what you go through in life, you can always rise above it, because there's no obstacle if there's nothing you can't overcome. And so it's on you. Mental health, of course, I had to go seek help. I said I spoke. Like in the African American community, as well as the Hispanic community. it's not something that growing up, that's not something you do. We don't talk about our feelings. We don't divulge like what our pain or whatever what we're going through. We're supposed to be men and be able to deal with it. Like, okay, yes, it's fine. But a lot of us are broken. A lot of us have gone through a lot of things and not being able to express ourselves and not and being afraid to go seek help because we don't want people to judge us and label us with a stigma. Oh, look at him. He's seeking therapy. He's a weak. He's not a man. And for many years that was a thing for us. It wasn't we weren't allowed to express how we felt. So when that now me doing my podcast, I get to express myself and let out my feelings and let people know that hey, it's okay for you to be vulnerable. It's okay for people to see that no matter what situation in your life you go through, you can always let it out. Let's just see however you can find to help. I recommend that for anyone. And
And
so, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, and I'm glad that you're saying that that you sought out professional help, even though in the Afro Latina Latina or Latino community, or Black and Brown community in general, it's like you're taught to internalize your feelings, but you stepped outside of the box and went outside of that quote unquote limitations, because I think that it is a limitation to hold everything in and not talk about it. And you broke those barriers by seeking out the help of others who are trained professionals in this area to really, tap into your feelings and get the help that you needed so you could get outside of that rut. So I just wanted to commend you on that.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And so my purpose is to really come here and just do what I do, what I love to do, and that's to talk to people and have them share their stories and be able to share their message, and so that people can see it. Like again, if you listen to my intro, it's about me. Yeah, I'm on my road to self-discovery, but these people are also on their roads. Everyone has a story. Everyone is on their own path. And so to be able to hear everybody, all the different stories, it might not relate to me, but there might be someone else that's listening that it might relate to them. And they're like, oh man, that's something similar that I went through. Maybe if they can overcome it, I can overcome the same thing. And so it's been a blessing for me to do my podcast. Like again, it's my form of therapy. It's me being able to express myself whenever I have something on my chest and I want to let it out. And it's also my time for me to grow and develop because I get to learn and listen to some amazing people who have amazing stories.
And I'm glad that you were able to overcome, the alcoholism. You were able to connect with your father as well as some other people, even though you lost them, because now you could say, I did my part and I was able to bridge the gap. I was able to say what I wanted to say and etc. And then now with your podcasts, you have the ability to create the content that you want without being censored, while bridging and connecting with other people who may look like you or who may not look like you, and really intersect with having fluid conversations and letting the world know that we are all on a journey. We're all learning, we're all growing, and we're all developing. And then just to talk about your story of losing your wife at such a young age, and you mentioned early on was that she started to prepare you because you were 21. Were you 21 when you got married,
No,
or
I was when we started dating, I was 21 and we got married when I was probably 25.
okay?
And so, but like I said, she's the one who introduced me into to self-development and to self-help and reading and really getting into developing myself as a person. And she knew what she was doing, and that was the path that especially after she was gone, that was a path. Like I could have continued on that path, but like I said, people grieve differently, and they go through whatever they go through. So that was just my path that I had to experience. That was just my journey, and I don't wish it upon anyone. It's everyone deals with it differently. So it was meant for me. I'm still growing, and I'm still on that path, and I'm still learning, and to just be able to take what she started with me and continue it now, especially now that I'm back to where I'm I'm taking as many courses. I'm taking all types of uh coaching classes, editing classes, everything to help me develop and grow as a content creator, because I found my outlet somewhere I'm able to voice my opinion, voice whatever I feel is wrong, or even allowing people to come on and express their feelings. So I've invested heavily in myself.
Which is great because it sounds like what she did for you was help you lay a foundation and pave a way. So then, if you did go off the beaten path, there was a way that you would come back to it because you began to be rooted in self development. And then, I know this is going to be a personal question, Wise. Did you expect your wife to pass
No,
as
it was sudden. It wasn't no, it wasn't like she like cancer or anything like that. It was an automobile accident. It was so it was unexpected. So, but again, she had laid the foundation already with me, as far as I knew the path that I needed to be on. It was just my choice, the choices I've made, I decided on, that took me off that path. And so when you come to realize that you can't blame everything on someone else, and realize some of the choices that I made in my life led to where led me to the situation I was in. And so again, when I got back back on the correct path, and started changing my mentality, and changing my thoughts, and my beliefs in myself, and whatever else that was going on in my head, things started to shift. I fell in love again. I was able to uproot my family from New York City and bring them up to the mountains in Pocono, in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania, and be able to change my life around to where, yes, I work my job, but now I'm starting. I have a production company. I have an internet radio station. I have a successful podcast. I'm meeting some amazing people through the podcast world, through all the connections I'm making. I was just a part of a women's summit, and to be able to sponsor that, and provide a summit for women to for to be able to express themselves, and show how creative they can be. To be able to do these things is a blessing. It shows you that, hey, listen, if you work hard, and you start putting out that kind of energy, that's the energy you're going to receive in return. And so to be able to do these things, and grow, and again, it's so much growth and development that's involved in the transformation, because that's what it takes. You can't just not, like, it's something when I'm always talking to somebody, I'm always saying that sometimes you can't be the smartest person in the room. You have to make yourself uncomfortable, and surround yourself with people that know things that you don't know, because you want to keep growing, especially in what we're doing, as far as the podcasting world. You want to start surrounding yourself with people that have been doing this for years, that know what they're doing, and when you start taking those tips and start applying them, because not everything's going to resonate with you. And I commend you. You're doing a great job. I love your background. You're doing your thing. and you're very professional, and that's great. That is great. That's how it is. People don't want to be with you if you have a schedule, you have calendars, you have all that, and I commend you for doing all that. That's where it has to go, because you have to treat it as a business, as a brand.
And thank
You're growing something that you have confidence in, that you believe in, and you treat it with the utmost professionalism, and that's amazing.
Thank you so much, Wise. And when you think about how you took something tragic, how you took you having to go through your own pit experience where you had to rediscover and redefine yourself, what tips would you give someone who is battling with losing a spouse? They're battling with, going down a downward spiral, and then their mental health is taking a toll. What are some key tips and tricks to help them climb out of that pit so they could start to walk towards their palace?
Well, first thing first is to acknowledge that you know that you have a problem, that like, I need to sit down with someone professionally and be able to speak to someone that you, because if listen, there's friends and people you can talk, yes, but you need to speak to someone that you feel that you're not going to be judged by. That's going to be like, they're not going to be judgmental of whatever you have to tell them, whatever the experiences you had to go through, whatever it was. And then once you establish that connection, and listen, it'll take years, take months, whatever. Is up to you. It's really up to you how you're willing to really sit down and absorb what they're telling you, and applying it to, like, how you're going to deal with whatever grief or whatever the situation was. It all begins with you. It starts with you. And it doesn't, when once you start realizing that it's you and not everyone else, then you can start really getting a grasp on and a hold on it. And because once I decided to stop being angry with whoever I was angry with, was, if it was God, spirit, whatever, that's when I was able to take a hold and take control of my life. It's releasing that anger and releasing that the idea that I had any control over what happened, and to reestablish myself and get myself back to where I knew I needed to be at. And some people aren't lucky. Some people aren't don't get that second chance. Some people, when they spiral, they lose the battle. I had a brother who's a drug addict. He lost that battle. And so it's some of us are lucky enough to be able to come out of the tunnel, come out of the darkness and into the light. And some of us just stay stuck in there. And everyone has a story. My story is not better than anyone else's, not that, but it's my story. It's what I experienced. It's what I went through. So, regardless of what your story is, you can overcome it. It's on you. Seek the help that you need, because you really need to let it out. It's you need to speak to someone, and then find what is it that makes you happy. What is it that, because happiness is within you, and there's nothing out there. I don't want to hear that money brings you happy. None of that. But no, none of that. Happiness comes from within you, and me finding my passion in in podcasting and being able to communicate with people. And I wish everyone could find what they love to do. I've just been blessed. I've went through whatever I experienced. Now things are coming to fruition and things are happening that, hey, listen, yeah, you went through your struggles. You're going to continue to have struggles once in a while. That's life. Life isn't easy.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you for sharing that because those were some great tips, Wise. Like One, get out of denial. Two, find a trusted individual that you can confide in, and an individual that is not going to judge you based on where you are at in your life. So, whether that is a counselor, a therapist, a friend, or etc. But I first recommend going to a paid professional
Professional. Yep.
who is trained in certain areas to help you get out of that. Number three is realize that where you are is not going to be a permanent place. It is just a temporary place that you're in. But if you put in the work, then you will see the results. But if you don't take any actions today, you're not going to be walking into the future that you want and desire, because there are some mental bondage. It may be physical bondage, emotional bondage, or spiritual bondage that is keeping you in a holding pattern that is not allowing you to flourish and be the man or woman you were destined to be. So when you think about it, maybe you need to do some mirror work as an exercise that I do with some of my clients. And I tell them to go stand in front of a mirror and recite all the incredible things that they like about themselves. Call out your strengths. Call out what makes you a wild card. Call out what makes you unique. And then as you begin to recite it outwardly, you'll start to feel it taking root internally. And before you know it, you'll have that paradigm shift and your mindset is going to start to shift. But you can't just do it one day, you have to do it
Yeah.
continually.
No, it's because yeah, I was absolutely right. Because you have the experiments where people where you spoke when they spoke to plants, right? And they spoke when the moments that they spoke well to plants, you seen how the plants grew and flourished and all that. And then the plants that they did not speak so well to didn't respond well. They didn't flourish. They didn't. Well, what do you think we are? We're plants. So if you're gonna speak, it starts with self-talk. It starts with how you speak to yourself. It starts with the words that you say to yourself. If you continue to say that you're an idiot, you can't do this, you can't do that, then you're not gonna do it. The mind is a tricky thing. If you believe you can do something, you're gonna do it. If you believe you can't do it, you're not gonna do it.
Absolutely. I say the mind is a powerful thing to waste. And then on that note, Wise, as we begin to wind down, I want you to leave our listeners and viewers with a call to action for this segment.
Listen, if you're stuck in a rut and you need help, please go seek the help you need. If call us a hotline, something, anything where if you can come out and just be able to express yourself, because there's been so many suicides in these last few years. It's just crazy. It's ridiculous. I've had friends who've lost children. It's mental health is important. People, we need to wake up and realize that it's okay to seek help. It's fine. No one's going to judge you. And if they judge you, then they don't need to be in your life. But
Absolutely.
it's fine for you to seek help. There's nothing wrong with it. Whatever your situation is, there's always someone there that you can talk to and find the help that you need. Believe me. Or if you want, send me a message. Whatever, however, yeah, just don't be afraid to reach out to someone.
Absolutely. And I would echo it's okay to say that you are not okay, but you're on a road to getting better. So just be honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, you're not going to be able to get outside of that rut. And there are so many other people like you that are going through something similar. So you're not in this journey alone, but you can create where you want to go by just realizing that you're not where you want to be. And that's okay because you're going to get there. And Wize, how can our listeners and viewers connect with you on social media? And what's your website?
Okay, so oh man, so I'm on Instagram. It's wise underscore el underscore jefe. So it's wise el jefe, which is with underscores between wise and all that. And you can check out our the production company website. It's www.realwiseproductions.com. My podcast, Stuck in My Mind podcast, is on all major platforms. You can whatever platform you're listening to, I'm probably more than likely on there.
And there you have it, listeners and viewers of GEMS Podcast. Once again, I'm the host and founder, Genesis Amaris Kemp, and you just heard Will Wize Otero, and we talked about how you can take your life from something that is not conducive to finding your purpose in life, but it starts by you realizing that you're not okay, you're not where you want to be, and turn that around by partnering with someone who can help you get on the right path. Until we chat next time, peace, love, and lots of blessings. Remember, you can create your destiny. You are a masterpiece and you are here for such a time as this. Don't ever let somebody tell you that you don't matter and you are not here for a reason. Believe in yourself and achieve what you want. Make sure you subscribe and share this segment. We're on 40 plus platforms, and follow us on YouTube at GEMS with Genesis Amaris Kemp for all things video content. Until we chat next time, ciao.